Yeah, so I'm Amy. I'm here with Marine Dynamics. I form part of their marine biology team. So I facilitate bits of the research, but I'm also one of the shark guides. So I go out on the boats, operate our intern coordination as well. So we do have our scientific skills based internship program. So facilitating that and yeah, just covering all bases. Yeah, so Gansbaai was originally known as the white shark capital of the world. The great whites are found just 15 minutes outside our bay. It was between Shark Alley and the area we operate in now called the Shallows. And yeah, our skipper on board Slashfin, he's been operating since the beginning of this essentially. And the maximum sightings per day were around 20 different white sharks. So you can imagine the different numbers that we had, varying individuals of different sizes too. And yeah, there was a bit of site validity. So different white sharks would come through during different times of the year. So it would be a case of, yeah, you know your icons, they're in the area. So it was definitely an iconic time for Gansbaai. Yeah, of course. So it did take everyone by shock. So initially, it started off as there were sightings of these two orcas, as mentioned, port and starboard. That's just based on the way their dorsal fins do flop over. So very, very easy to be able to identify them. And yeah, it coincided with the carcasses of great white sharks washing up along our coastlines. And one of the things that really led it to an orca predation was each necropsy was pretty textbook. So there would be a surgical slit just along that bottom side. That's what we call the ventral side. The missing liver. That was the main target audience, of course, when it comes to that organ. It is massively nutritionally valuable. And yeah, on the skin surface, they did have rake marks. So those are the tooth marks that are caused by those orcas. And yeah, eventually it was then cited and confirmed to be the orcas. And this was all led by Alison Towner, who was one of our biologists at the time as well. Yeah, of course. So when it comes to the threats that sharks are facing here along our coastline and globally, there are multiple factors. So when it comes to our great white sharks, there has tended to be a move up towards the east coast, but the sightings, they're not in the same abundance. So for great white sharks, they are declining in terms of their population numbers. They have been a vulnerable species. They're pretty much bumped up to endangered now as well. So in terms of global status, there aren't that many individuals left. And unfortunately, with the change of climate, it's going to move their food sources. It's going to change the environment within which they're comfortable. Of course, for a lot of sharks, they are affected by the water temperatures, so that is going to play a factor. And we're still seeing the effects of the fishing industry when it does come to either directly removing sharks. They are still most likely seen as a threat to fishing resources, and then also just accidental catch too for these great white sharks. They do have fantastic depth ranges, which we actually don't fully understand. So it is quite likely that they are making contact with those deep sea fisheries. So the longliners and the trawlers, they definitely will be having an effect on their stability in terms of population. I'm sure you can imagine you remove your apex predator, it's going to definitely create a little bit of a shift. So we did have some new shark species that started coming through, namely our bronze whaler sharks, which we see pretty much every day around our shark cage diving vessels too. And then another individual, a little bit more prehistoric, this is our broad-nosed seven gill. So very cute little face, cute little smile. They got nice big attitudes that come behind that. They are fantastic on our bait lines, but it did mean we had a shift in the shark species that we saw. And we also do have our Cape Fur seal colony over at Giza Rock. We do biannual counts, so we're currently looking into whether there was a change in their population based on the disappearance of our great whites within the Gansbaai area as well. Yeah, so for us, it's not impossible to see a white shark. So last year we did have a few different sightings. May was the absolute highlight of the year. So we did have 4 different individuals that came through in that month. But in terms of the size range that we're seeing, they range from around 1.5 up to 3 meters. So we're looking at sub-adults and juveniles coming through the area. So it's not the big girls that are coming to play, reaching around 5, 6 meters that we used to have historically. And yeah, it has been a little bit of a while now. So the last confirmed sighting we did have was the 14th of October in 2024. But our sharky senses are tingling. So hoping in the next few months we'll have another one come through and yeah, just remind us of the greatness of that species.